All right, boys and girls, today we're on lesson 9.3 on page 519. Compare fractions with the same numerator. Yesterday we looked at same denominator, which was the bottom number. Today we're going to look at fractions with the same numerator, which is the top number. So two fractions, both will have the same numerator or the same top number. Let's look at our example. It says Marcos is at Athena's cafe. He can sit at a table with 5 of his friends, or he can sit at a table with 7 of his friends. The same size spinach pie, yum, is shared equally among the people at each table. At which table should Marcos sit to get more pie? Okay. Including Marcos, how many friends will be sharing pie at each table? So if we look down here, table A, let's call it, we'll have pie A. And so I'm going to write table A, including Marcos, is going to have 6 people. Table B, which is right here, is going to have 8 people. And what are we going to compare? We're going to compare numerators. Okay, that's the focus today. Numerators is what we're going to compare. And size of each slice of pie. I'll just put size of each slice in the end, where that's what we'll look at. There will be 6 friends sharing pie A or 8 friends sharing pie B. So Marcos is either going to get 1/6 or he's going to get 1/8. First thing we're going to do, shade 1/6 of pie A. Okay, shading 1/6 pie A. That's it right there. And I can color in a little bit. There we go. And then we also need to do the same for pie B. Coloring or shading in 1/8 because he gets 1 slice, right? So he gets 1 slice of this. Then we look at which slice is bigger, and pie A, he gets a bigger slice. So pie A is broken into 6ths, pie B is in 8ths. Pie A has the larger slice, so 1/6 is larger than 1/8. So Marcos should sit at the table with his 5 friends, so there are 6 of them altogether, so he can get the biggest slice of pie. Okay. Which pie has more pieces? Pie A or pie B? Pie B has 8 slices, pie A has 6, so pie B has more slices. The more pieces a whole is divided into, that's pie B, the smaller the pieces are. So we're going to put smaller here. SMALLER. Question 2. Which pie has fewer pieces? Again, pie A had 6, pie B had 8. So pie A has fewer. And the fewer pieces a whole is divided into, the larger the pieces are. I'm going to draw one more example to really emphasize that point. Let's say we had another pie divided into 2 pieces. Then 1 slice would be half this pizza right here, and that is much larger than the other pies, right? So 1/2 here, 1/2 here, only divided into 2 pieces. Each piece is much bigger than pie A and definitely much bigger than pie B. So the smaller or the fewer number of pieces you divide it into, those pieces are bigger, like we just saw down here at the bottom. Okay, let's go to the next page. We're going to use fraction strips here, which I think work much better than the pie pieces. So our example says, on Saturday the campers paddled 2/8 of their planned route down the river, and on Sunday they went 2/3 of the way down the river. on which day did they paddle farther. So we come over here, 2/8 on the first day. We're going to shade that in, 2/8, which is going to be this amount. And I'm just going to highlight it kind of, or put a border around it. And then the next day they went 2/3 of the way, and that's this amount right here. Okay? And so we can look at the fraction strips, and it's much easier to determine which one's bigger. The 2/3 goes way out here, where the 2/8 stop here. And so if you start from the beginning, which is that line there, 2/3 is a bigger section than 2/8. Okay, so I kind of shaded them in. 2/8 compared to 2/3. 2/8 is smaller than 2/3, so we need to make sure we write the correct symbol in there. 2/8 is less than 2/3. So the campers paddled further on blank day. They paddled further on Sunday. So we'll write Sunday in here. Sunday, capital S-U-N-D-A-Y. Okay. Again, it was broken into, the 1/3 is broken into smaller pieces, or bigger pieces, I'm sorry, because there are fewer of them, and they still have to take up the one whole spot. We can also use reasoning. This one's a little trickier, and I think on this one a lot of times I end up drawing fraction strips. But let's look at the example. It says, for her class party, Felicia baked 2 trays of snacks that were the same size. After the party, she had 3/4 of the carrot snack and 3/6 of the apple snack left over. Was more carrot snack or more apple snack left over? So we're going to compare 3/4 and 4/6. Now, here's what they say, and then I'll show you how I would solve it. They say, since the numerators are the same, we'll look at the denominators to compare the size of the pieces. We have 3/4 and 3/6. And by now we know, since this one is divided into fewer pieces, each piece must be bigger. So 3/4 is bigger than 3/6. And we kind of say that here. The more pieces a whole is divided into, the smaller the pieces are. Smaller. S-M-A-L-L-E-R. The fewer pieces a whole is divided into, the larger the pieces are. And in our example, that one was divided into 4 pieces, so its pieces were larger. 1/4 is blank than 1/6 because there are blank pieces. 1/4 has fewer pieces, and since it has fewer pieces, it only has 4 compared to the 6. Those 4 pieces are larger than each 6. So 3/4 is larger than 3/6. So there was more of the blank snack left over. Whatever had 3/4, that is the carrot snack. There was more of the carrot snack left over. C-A-R-R-O-T. Now, if that doesn't make sense, and I don't blame you if it doesn't, here's what I would do. I would draw, it looks like a big candy bar with a top and a bottom. Okay, so I divide the top part into 4 equal parts. You have to do your very best to make them as equal as you can. Okay, and now since I have it in 4 equal parts, I'm going to shade in 3 of them for 3/4. And then the bottom one is 3/6. It needs to be divided into 6 equal parts. So I'm pretty close there. And I can shade in 3 of those because it was 3/6. So do 3 of the 6. And now I can visually see that the top one, 3/4, is bigger than 3/6. Error alert. When comparing fractions with the same numerator, be sure the symbol shows that the fraction with fewer pieces in the whole is the greater fraction. Okay? But I think drawing a fraction strip does the best for me. Okay, boys and girls, work hard today, persevere, do your best. If you have questions, please ask them. You must do the share and show and get that checked before moving on to your assignment. As always, this is Mr. P, and I am out.